Hey guys, this is Ian Elwood. I'm a member of the Reddit for Chinese watches, and I'm making this quick, unedited, one take, very probably poorly done, but I'm going to try it anyway, video to compare my Submariner homages. This is in response to a post the other day from a user named Mr. Waffles, nice name, and Steve from Escape Wheel Watch Reviews, who you guys all know is very active on the subreddit, tagged me in a comment. And he said there that I'm the only person he knows that has the all of the top tier so-called subs, so Sugess or Sugas, however you want to say it, San Martin and Kronos. So I'm going to go through some differences, similarities. There's a lot of similarities, not as many differences. And then my opinions on kind of each brand and what they offer, and which ones I would go for today if I had to start over. So this is the first watch I got. It's a Kronos. I got this one next, I believe, then this one, and this one came in like 3 weeks ago. Love this one so far. So I'll start with the Kronos. I have two of those. I'm going to talk about each one individually, then I'll get into the comparison stuff. So Kronos, like the other ones, except the San Martin vintage style, they all have 40 millimeter cases, 20 millimeter lug width, and their proportions are exactly like the now discontinued 40 millimeter Rolex Submariner. So this one is the oldest, has the PT 5000, so does this one. You can get them with an NH35 now, which is a cheaper movement. Some people think it's a better movement. I wouldn't go that far. In my experience with Chinese watches, the PT 5000s keep better time, and I haven't had any reliability issues with them so far. Now, I'll caveat that with the fact that I've only been buying Chinese watches for about 3 years, so as far as a long-term reliability, I'm not sure. I haven't had to service any of them yet. I constantly tinker with them and mod them and stuff like that, but I haven't done any maintenance to the actual movements, so no problems with the PT 5000s. This one runs at 6 seconds per day, slow, so plus 6 seconds per day. This one's about 4.5. I used to measure all my watches with an app for my cell phone, but I don't really care because I don't notice deviations of seconds per day, because by the time I'm done timing them and I can figure out a value, they go back in the watch box and I wear a different watch because I have plenty of watches. And I like to rotate them. I don't like when they collect dust. So not a big issue to me, but in my experience, I will say PT 5000s have been more accurate. My NH35s tend to run between like 8 to 12 seconds a day usually. I do have some that are like 3 and 4 seconds, but they're more rare. So the PT 5000 tend to be more accurate on a consistent basis. So another thing I want to point out, this date window here, the Cyclops is now 2.5 times magnification. That's something you'll see on the other watches, but the Rolex is about 2.5. You could see this one is not, I don't know, maybe that's 1.5, maybe. This one's a little bit bigger. That was an inconsistent thing with Kronos watches before, but it seems like they've ironed it out now. So they do have a new Cyclops on them, which is great. This one lives on rubber because I can beat it up, not have to worry about scratches. And also this one, when the bracelet came on it, it had big gaps with the end links there. And I verified it because I tried to swap this bracelet on. This bracelet does not fit this case either. The bracelet from this watch does fit this case. So it's just, this was an earlier batch. I think I just got a watch head that has like wider lugs than the others. So that's weird, but I think why that happened was this was one of the first watches that they made when they changed the date frame. They used to have a frame around the date, a white frame. It was ugly. They got rid of it and they changed to this applied logo. So as soon as they did that, I bought one. So I probably got one of the first ones in that new configuration. And I don't think they were checking them very well at QC. I think they probably sold a lot and just shipped them out very quickly. So I'm going to give them a pass because I have 6 Kronos watches now, and this is the only one that has any sort of fitment issue. I have 2 GMTs that are great, and then I have this one, and I have a Datejust that's also awesome. That's been on Steve's channel. You can watch the review on that one. So that's why this isn't on the bracelet. Bad end link fitment. This one, perfect. No issues there at all. Getting into the nitty gritty, so we have signed crowns on the Kronos. The clasp is not signed, which I really don't care about because you don't look at it very often. The bracelet links are thin. They're very comfortable. They articulate really well, and this has a glide lock in it, which is awesome. Works great. Not as smooth as a real Rolex, of course, but it's awesome. That is a game changer. I love having a glide lock on my Submariners because I like my bracelets not to rattle. Like, I don't like them very, very loose or very tight either. So I like them in the middle. And on a hot day, if you put a bracelet on that's not loose, it gets really tight really quick. So this is nice to be able to adjust it without needing tools. So that's awesome. There's plenty of micro adjust in there because of that, right? So you don't have to worry about, oh, I need to move my spring bar to the next hole because it's summer or winter or vice versa. So that's great. I love this dial. It's got a flat effect to it. It's not glossy and it's not sunburst either. So kind of unique. That's why I went for this blue one. It has a great color. It's not navy, but it's not light blue like the real Rolex, which is more kind of like this shade actually. So I like that. I like this color a lot. It's a great color. It's not navy. It's not light blue. It's in the middle. They have this kind of dial, this matte dial in a green as well. The black dial is glossy. I know they make this with a gray sunburst dial now. They make it with a green sunburst dial. They also have a green dial that's more like this style, a flat, almost enamel looking appearance. That one's nice too, but I went for the blue because it was unique. I know they also make this with a white dial now and a gray sunburst. I don't know if I said that already. And they have carbon fiber dials too. So there's lots of options with the Kronos. I know you can get the bezels fully loomed or not. This one is fully loomed. It's pretty cool. It's like an extra 15 bucks or something. So I said, why not try it? And I like it. It's not obnoxious or anything. The lume on these are great. They're not better than San Martin though, but very, very much so. They are good enough. So that's the Kronos. I like this one. It was my first Chinese watch. They're great. No complaints there. Again, the only thing that I didn't like about these were the date window. It was the wrong magnification. I'd rather just not have one if it's going to be bad like that. But now they fixed it. So that's something to keep in mind. The other thing I really like about this one is the capped seconds hand. It's beautiful. So most watches, including all the other ones I have on the desk here, they have that little, it's like a hole in the second hand. That's where the pinion sits. So this one, you can see, has it. This one's got that beautiful cap on it. So something very small. You might not notice it right away, but I do, and I like it. Another thing to mention, this applied logo is a different shape, which is really interesting. So it's almost like nothing major, but it's like a difference in font kind of. So this one kind of disappears in some lighting, like right there. This one, it's more pronounced, so you're not as likely to lose it in the light. That was a slight change. I don't even think they announced it, but I noticed it and I like it. So buy the Kronos with confidence for sure. Glide lock's excellent, bracelets excellent, movement's great. Yeah, just a winner for sure. Here's the San Martin. This is the SN017. I've had this one for about 1.5 years. I wanted a Hulk homage. I heard great things about San Martin. I had other really good San Martin watches. People rave about them on this sub, so I figured I'd try it. Now, the one thing I don't like about this watch is I think the bezel's too dark for a Hulk. Now, it's just, you know, that's subjective. It's not like the Rolex, which I want it to be. Some people don't care. Some people don't want it like that. I did. Now, an important difference with this, unlike the Kronos, it doesn't have the Rolex style clasp. This clasp is awesome. It's beautiful. It works incredibly well. It's got 4 holes of micro adjust, so plenty of micro adjust. It's super secure, sturdy, all that stuff. That logo is just gorgeous. The way they kind of inlay it is awesome. I know you can see it. It's gonna be hard to get a shot of this without opening the bracelet, but there's actually a little indent there. You can kind of make it out. Yeah, there it is. So that's actually like kind of inlaid into the clasp. It's not just printed on top or glued on or anything. So that's a really nice touch. It's got beautiful brushing. Those chamfers are awesome. I love that. That's a great touch. And it works really well. I don't love it on a sub though, because I do want glide lock on my Submariner homage, which is great because you can get it in the competitors. So this is a great watch. It's not for me because I don't like the color. I think the color on the Sugess is way better. So I bought it to scratch that itch for a Hulk, and I don't love it. This one has the NH35. Great loom, applied logo. I have the one with the shark crown. I think for a while they switched to that S crown, which a lot of people don't like. I don't really care. The S crown is better, or not better. The applied logo now that they use, so the crown logo looks just like this hexagon that's on the dial, and this one. So that's good. Now they have it with those. So just be careful when you buy these. If you're not buying from the San Martin store or whatever, just double check the listing. Make sure you know what's going to be on the crown. And if you care about it, make sure it's the right one. This is the really old one that has the shark on the crown, which is cool. I like it. But I brought this Kronos next to it to show you a big difference. Right? So this is what I'd call one of the key differences. This one has brushed sides to the individual bracelet links. So you can see that they're brushed, right? Normally on the Rolex too, the case sides are polished, and so are the bracelet sides. So there you go, polish here, polish on the clasp. This one is brushed here, brushed here. So it is consistent with the clasp, but it's not, I think this is better personally. I like this bracelet a lot. It's got thinner links. The San Martin bracelet is noticeably heavier when you wear it. You do notice the difference in heft. I like the look of that. Some people don't like polished surfaces because you scratch them, but really I don't notice that I scratch the side of the bracelet a lot at all. So yeah, that's a key difference. The San Martin is a good watch. I'm just not particularly fond of that colorway, that's all. Get this back in focus. And it doesn't have a glide lock. That is a big negative for me. It does, however, have the correct magnification on the date, which is a plus, right? None of these have particularly good AR coding, so I'm just going to throw that out there now, although I'm using a harsh light. So it's not something that I notice as being bad in real life applications, but I will mention it. So yeah, the San Martin's good, just not my favorite. This one is awesome. I love this. I know Iron Watch make a similar watch. This is a printed dial, so it doesn't have those big applied indices like all the others have, so you can see there. The loom doesn't suffer though, actually. The loom is great on this, which is surprising. That was one of the things I was worried about with a printed logo, or a printed dial, I'm sorry, that you would have bad loom. It's got the script logo on it. This one has a PT 5000. I love this watch. It's one of my favorites. It's got the S crown. It has drilled lugs like a vintage Submariner, which is cool. And it has very, very thin lugs as opposed to the fat lugs on all the others, right? So that's something else. This one wears a bit differently. It's got a big piece of double dome sapphire or single dome. I'm not really sure. I can't tell. But it's got that vintage look. I love it. It's really cool. It looks great on other straps too, which are easy to change because of the drilled lug holes. Yeah, so that's that. This one has different tone on the bezel paint. So this is more like that platinum color, right? Like a light gray. That's what all Rolexes really look like. Their bezel paint is a platinum color. See, this is much whiter there, much whiter, super white on the San Martin. Very, very white. And the Sugess is also white, but not as white as the San Martin. So that's something to keep in mind. So I'll go over bezel action at the end. And then the last one is the Sugas. So this one is it's actually got a blend of the best features from the San Martin and the Kronos. One thing, I forgot to mention the San Martin. As far as I know, it's only available in green, black, and blue, I believe. I think their blue is not sunburst. You'll have to double check that. I've never actually seen the blue San Martin in the flesh, so I don't know. The black is glossy, just like the Kronos, and this green has, the sunburst. They also make a 41mm sub homage, which I've kind of seen like mixed reviews on. But Rolex changed the dimensions of the actual Submariner. San Martin released a homage to that one too. It's very similar looking. So if you want to consider that one, go ahead as well. So the Sugas is my favorite. I just got it. It could be like a honeymoon stage thing, but I love it. So this, in my opinion, really matches what the Rolex Hulk looks like. So it's got a lighter bezel color than the San Martin. That's closer to what the Rolex looks like. It doesn't match the dial color, but the real Rolex doesn't either. So that's interesting, but that's something to keep in mind. I like the lighter bezel color. I like the fact that this has an actual like metal bezel pip. See, the San Martin doesn't, just a dot. Kronos is the same, just a dot, just a dot. So that's something to keep in mind. And this bezel is just too dark. Like the Rolex Hulk bezel is not that dark forest green. This one, the bracelet is very similar to the Kronos. It's kind of scary how similar they are. So polished on the sides and much thinner than the San Martin. There you go. There's that comparison shot again. So you can see much thicker and polished, not brushed. Signed crown. It's just laser etched like the Kronos. The Kronos is like engraved. So that's like an actual etching you can feel with your fingernail. Like it's actually a change in the depth, right? This one is not. It's just kind of like, maybe laser etched isn't the right word. It's more like it's just kind of printed on there. So it's not like a Seiko crown where you can feel the ridges and the S. It's just flat, right? The clasp is a glide lock clasp. It's beautifully done, just like the Kronos. I would say it's a little bit smoother than the Kronos clasp as far as how it operates, but they both have like the same amount of adjustment there. The bracelets like almost look identical. Actually, it's pretty crazy. Again, my Sugess, the glide lock is a little bit smoother operating, but honestly, that's probably just like this particular watch versus this particular watch. On the whole, there's going to be variation in the Chinese watches. Like I could get two of these and they might have little differences. Like one might have sharper finishing or smoother finishing or a better glide lock action, a better crown action. That's what I, kind of attribute that to. Talk about the signing on the clasp fold over. That's awesome. Again, it's like the crown. You can't feel the S, but it's there. And it's kind of like a raised dot. So that's cool. That's a nice touch. And this actually, the edge of that circle extends over the little hole, so you can actually use that to get your fingernail under, which is cool. I thought that was a nice touch. Yeah, this one, great bracelet, great end link fitment. The spring bar holes are kind of tight. Let's see if we can get a good look at that. Yeah, they're a little small. That's what a Rolex looks like. I think it's just so that you have to use Rolex tools to get them open. I'm not really sure, but it's kind of a pain in the neck. So the San Martin, you can see much bigger bores for those spring bars, so you can really get a tool in there easily. Same with the Kronos, bigger holes. That's the only one like that. This one's got drilled lugs. Good touch. That's consistent with the vintage Submariner. Makes it really easy to change straps, and this one does look great on different straps because it has those thinner lugs with that beautiful chamfer. So that's great. I really like this one. I recommend this one to everyone that asks me because it's something different. And if you're just going for a modern sub homage, you do not see this one. You kind of miss out on it. So it's important. Like I said, this one, my favorite. It's got great colors. Sunburst is awesome. I think there's some anti-reflective on the Cyclops because I always notice this blue hue. You can see it right there. They nailed the dial color, in my opinion. They nailed the bezel color, and that's why it's, in my opinion, the best Hulk and my favorite of all these. Again, I like that lume pip. Yes, that's good. As far as comparison points, so I'm going to talk about lume real quick. So San Martin definitely has the best lume. All these watches have good lume. None of them have bad lume. Kronos you can get with lume bezels, but San Martin's comfortably the best. This one's a lot better than that one because this is applied indices. This is printed. It's a little better, but this one is really good for having an applied dial. Kronos has great lume as well. Sugess is probably the worst, but it's close, and it's, again, I'm saying the worst, but we're splitting hairs here. They all have great lume. So this one's definitely the worst. I'm going to throw up a lume shot and I'll label which one's which in the loom shot. I'll just write the names on there. So yeah, that's pretty much it. If you guys have any other questions, let me know. Oh, I'll go into bezel action real quick. These two, great bezel action. I forgot to do that, I'm sorry. The Kronos is kind of, it's definitely the lightest, so it doesn't take a lot of force. Some people don't like that. I don't mind, because it's not like it moves on its own. Like when you bump it against stuff, it's still secure. This one, awesome bezel action. The San Martins, the bezels are pretty much the same. So they're all 120 click as well. I didn't mention that. But the San Martin, the clicks are heavier. They have a deeper sound to them, and they're, you know, the amount of force you need to put into the bezel to turn it is higher. So bezel choice, or bezel action, really is kind of a personal choice. I tend to prefer lighter, but it's up to you. This one is kind of in the middle, so it has those higher pitched, louder clicks, but very smooth action. I love this one. Alignment on all of them is pretty damn good. Bezel play, the Sugas has a little bit. Neither of the San Martins really have any play, which is, I know some people are particular about that. So those no play. This one's got a tiny bit of play too. I don't mind playing on my bezels, because if they do come misaligned, which some of them do, right? It's a Chinese watch. It doesn't have incredible Swiss brand level QC. So some of them will come misaligned, and the bit of play really gives you some wiggle room. So that's nice. My overall thoughts, again, this is the best. You can buy it in all black or black dial with green. And I just saw someone last week posted a Cookie Monster, which is a blue bezel and a black dial. I haven't seen that one on AliExpress, but that's an awesome colorway. Might look to buy that one. This one, again, comes in black, green, and blue, as far as I know. NH35, NH35. This one has a PT5000. These both have PT5000s. You can get them with an NH35, I know for sure. So keep that in mind. Your movement choice is different. Again, I love the cap seconds hand. They also make this in a no-date version. I think the no-date version has the NH38 or the NH35. I can't remember which one. But that's really nice. I know a lot of people like the no-date subs because the Cyclops can come misaligned or be the incorrect magnification, like these two, although it's something that they fixed. I know a lot of people hate Cyclops, so, you know, that's what it looks like without it. It's a very clean look. So if you want no-date, go there. Kronos has a lot of colors. Again, they have the most colors, so black, blue, green. They have matte green and sunburst green. They have white. They have sunburst gray and carbon fiber. Loom bezel or not. These you can't get with loom bezels, and you can't get the PT5000 in those. So again, something to keep in mind with movement choice. So that's all I got. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to ask. I know it's a lot. It's kind of a long video, and it's a little rambly because it's uncut. But if you take the time to watch, thanks. Let me know if you want to see more pictures, videos, have any other questions. The loom shot is coming, so thank you so much for watching.